Alright guys, pretty good fight. Just watched on ESPN. Kind of proud of Goldenboy right now, man, for stepping the game up, man, and making sure that they get the fights out there for the boxing public, putting it back on ESPN. That's where it should be. I think that's the best thing for boxing right now is to try to put this stuff out there for the boxing community and for casual public consumption. It's the best thing that you can do. I mean, they know everybody is pretty much subscribed to some form of cable or satellite, what have you, and why not put it out there on public television, even though it's still I would say people are still paying for a subscription. It's just smart that they're going in that route rather than to keep putting it on Showtime, HBO, where people don't really want to subscribe to those mega networks much anymore, and have to be paying an extremely high cable or satellite bill, going through Dish or trying to go through Direct TV. So anyway, man, off of that, but on to the fight. Santiago, Martinez, both guys, man, fought their hearts out, much like in the first fight when they fought. I think it was a little different though in this fight, because in the first fight, I think that both guys were putting it all on the line, and they were coming at each other with everything they had in that first fight. But in this fight, it was more of the same, but it was a lot more technical, a lot more sound. Guys looked like they had a game plan versus the first fight. They had a game plan in this one, and they knew each other, of course. So you could see a tad bit of caution there, but overall they were coming for each other. You could see where Santiago, he was doing pretty good, man. His conditioning was excellent. Both guys were in good condition to go the long haul, but Santiago was on his toes a lot. I love boxers like that, man. On his toes a lot. He was moving his upper body. He was moving his head. He was using angles in the ring. He was in constant movement, man. So it really brought frustration to Martinez a lot, because his target wasn't in front of him. He couldn't set up his combinations. He couldn't set his game plan up the way that he wanted to. So he had to take what was there, or he had to just go all out for it and try his best to land some solid shots, which he did. Ended up landing some pretty good shots on Santiago. But I thought that Santiago fought a smart fight. I thought that he fought with heart. I thought that he fought determined. I thought that he fought with more confidence in this fight than he did in the last fight. He had everything going for him. The body shots, a lot of the head shots he was throwing, combination punches. He was throwing with speed. He showed a lot of flair in that ring tonight, where I thought that he should have won the fight. I thought that he had at least edged Martinez by 3 rounds, in my opinion. It could have went either way, because they had some of those swing rounds, like I always talk about on these videos, those swing rounds between the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th, even possibly the 8th, where you could have went either way with those guys, and where they kind of, I think they took 2 rounds off between, I would say, 6 and 8, between those rounds, maybe even the 9th, they kind of took some rounds off, where neither one of those guys kind of edged the other one, because guys were missing punches, wasn't really landing much of anything. And sorry about that, guys. Daughter had to come in here and use the restroom. That's why I hate doing videos in here, but it's too much noise. But anyway, Yeah, those swing rounds, it could have went either way for either fighter. However you had it, but um, on to Martinez. I thought that Martinez fought a pretty good fight. He was standing straight up for the most part, coming straight forward. He had some upper body movement, not much head movement, not much foot movement. He did mostly trying to cut off the ring on Santiago. He was throwing some solid straight rights. He had a good strong left hook that he was able to land and kind of back Santiago up a few times in the fight. He stunned him, maybe I would say maybe 2 or 3 times in the fight, but he didn't follow through. When he stunned him, you could see him thinking, he thought to himself, well, I'm just going to run in and try to get what I can get. And when he would run in, Santiago would get his bearings back. And because he was holding on to Martinez and slowing him down. And then he got his bearings back and he was able to kind of go back to his foot movement again. And once again, I was throwing Martinez off. So, that footwork had him tired. He was breathing heavy in the fight. He wasn't throwing with much velocity anymore. You could see where he knew he was falling behind in the rounds, and when he noticed that, then and Santiago was trying to steal rounds by throwing flurries, then he would try to throw flurries back, towards the end of the round most of the times, or in the middle of that round. He would try to throw his flurries back and back up Santiago. But it just depends on what judges you have, man. The judges, sometimes they will reward you for stuff like that. And in some cases, they'll make the round even if both fighters are throwing flurries like that, towards the end of the round. So, boxing is not just based on the 10-point system. That's why you have judges there, to judge what a fighter is doing in the ring, as a boxer, as a fighter, as a puncher, who threw the hardest punches, who backed this guy up, who is showing ring generalship, things of that nature. So that's why they're there. They're there to judge, not just to award guys points in the fight. They're judging the technique. They're judging the footwork. They're judging what a guy's putting together in there as far as his game plan and things like that. So, they're basically looking for the most complete fighter out of the two. You got two guys in here that are both coming to do one thing, but who's doing it better? And that's their job, to judge these guys, to see who is doing it better, who put together the better game plan. And I think that both guys did well. But I think Santiago edged Martinez. You can have it 3 rounds, or you can have it 2, or you can even have it 1. But at the end of the day, I think the fight should have went to him, but it ended up a draw. All in all, it was still a win for boxing. It was still a win for the fans. It was a win for me. I enjoyed it. That's why I tuned in. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I caught the fight once again, man, on ESPN. Good fights have been coming up for Goldenboy Promotion. So, if you can, man, catch that fight, and take a look at it for yourself, man, and let me know what you think. But anyway, man, I'm going to get out of here. This video is too long. Peace.